Frak, this podcast, come and listen to us talk about Battlestar Galactica. It's a show that we're talking about. Hello, interwebs, and welcome to the Frak, this podcast. I am your chrome-domed host, Jesse Gender, and I'm joined as always by, I don't know where I was going with that one.
I was gonna say, do you have hair loss I don't know about?
Yeah, I don't know what I was. Yeah.
Hey, it's Vera.
How you doing, Vera?
I am okay. I'm done with this humidity, but
It's been humid here in LA too, which is new.
yeah, well, I have myself a larger drink than usual, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll be okay. Um, I do wanna show you something.
Mm-hmm.
So I got pictures back from Tony from the session we shot together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna send you all of them, but I'm gonna send a couple to you over Discord because I kind of want to get
My
uh,
reaction.
a reaction.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
So,
Oh, ooh. Also, I like the film grain on it. I love that that's the first thing that I notice about these pictures. Ooh. Oh, okay. Okay. I really love all of these. These are all fucking fantastic. But I think the second one that you sent me, which is the sort of horizontal one, that
yep,
one's fucking great. That
I
one's
like
amazing.
I like that one a lot. I like
That
all
one,
three of these a lot, but yeah, I like that one a lot.
the way your face is shot in that one looks really fucking amazing. No, these are fantastic. I love these.
So yeah,
What did you
you
shoot
get the
these?
vibe.
What did you shoot these on?
This was just
Because
on
I just like the look of the camera.
This was just on Tony's phone.
Huh.
Part of what he does a lot of the time is he shoots video and takes screen grabs out of it, which innately have lower fidelity and give it a little bit more of that sort of looking like it was taken with an actual camera
Yeah.
without like applying filters over it.
Huh. Well, I like it. It's a cool look. I really like it a lot. Yeah, no, those are fantastic. You should be very proud. Also,
I
what is this?
am.
Is this like a Bowser aesthetic? Mario
So
Bowser or Peach Bowser, I guess.
Peach Bowsette. Like
Mm.
I'm okay to say it now because I think by the time this airs, some of these will start being public. But yes, I busted out my Bowsette cosplay, and he busted out his Princess Peach, and yeah, it was there's stuff that goes on in the castle that the princess is in before Mario shows up, and
Yeah, of course.
here we
Why do
go.
you think Peach likes to get kidnapped so much?
What? Why do you think she keeps getting moved to another castle? They're not done yet.
God damn it, Mario, you're supposed to wait some time. uh
Uh,
well, I had less. I mean, it was still fun. But last Friday I got to see the Lily Wachowski's Hunted script reading. I got a
mhm.
chance to go watch that, which is very interesting. It was definitely a Wachowski script. It was so I it was fascinating to me because Abigail Thorne was involved in that, and obviously I know Abigail a little bit. And she was telling me before the show started the night before, she's like, "Do not pee before you go to the show," or sorry, "Do not drink anything before you go to the
Okay,
show." Sorry, other way around, other way around, other way around. That sounded really weird. That sounded really weird. That was not what I meant. I apologize if this gets back to Abigail. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I misphrased. Abigail said, "Do not drink before the show because it's like 2 hours plus, and there's no intermission, and you will need to pee during it." And oh boy, did I! Like it is. It was a long, long script reading. And it was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna give my critique of it. I certainly have my issues with the script, but it was definitely a Wachowski script. Without spoiling for anybody who hasn't gotten the chance to see it, for anyone who doesn't know, Hunted is a script that Lily Wachowski wrote that is very trans focused, that I hope she wants to get made at some point, but it was just something that she wrote, and they did a reading with it with a bunch of trans actors. And it was the point at which I'm like, yeah, this is definitely a Wachowski script, was the point at which they are having a explicitly described as a Sailor Moon fight in the middle of the Supreme Court. And I'm like, all right, it's like two trans women in the middle of the Supreme Court having a Sailor Moon saber fight. And I'm like, all right, cool. Yep, this is definitely what
Yeah,
West
no,
Future.
yeah, that sounds about right.
It was, but it was a fun time. It's about 2 hours of trans wish fulfillment. I have my quibbles and qualms with it, but it was a fun time to watch. But yeah, definitely did not get a chance to pee during it. And Abigail was a lot of fun. So
Cool. She's
yeah.
been very busy lately.
Yeah,
Jesus.
well, I'm sure she's talked about this elsewhere, but she's in LA for the summer, so she's taking every advantage that she has. She's been doing stuff she did a reading of the Prince play, she did this Hunted stuff, she's been doing a few other things here and there. So I'm just, yeah, if you're in LA, take advantage. So good for her. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited. So, well, speaking of, I don't have the episode up, so the transition is not there. I went for the transition and I did not have it. Council of Geeks break room. Don't judge me. I hate you. Shut up. I can see your face.
I didn't have to say a damn thing.
I did it to myself. You know what I need? I need someone to watch over me before before I start the podcast. And speaking of which, oh, what a wild coincidence this is. We're talking about the episode Someone to Watch Over Me of the podcast a couple weeks ago. I think that might be the worst transition I've ever done in my life, like of all time.
It's up there. Here's what I'll say. I will say I think that might be the worst one that isn't one that you abandoned halfway through.
Yes, I went for it. I just kept going, Yeah. I owned it at this point.
Against all better judgment. You saw it through to the end.
Give me that. Give me that. Well, one comment I got was April Gardner 7827 says, "I really appreciate Vera explained the complicated feelings and loss of a relationship where you stop doing something tied intimately with it. I can't play the piano, though I know I learned to once. I even had dates in my grandpa's handwriting with G or VG good/very good in practice books in a box somewhere. He was a pianist professionally, as was his father. I was lucky enough growing up, starting age 4, to have him as a third parent in the house and loved it. After he died of cancer late in grade school, I struggled for years. I can't play the piano. I don't remember now." And I just wanted to share that because, yeah, it reminds me of like I used to play trumpet as well as the guitar in high school, and I actually took like lessons for trumpet for many, many, many years. And I have not touched the trumpet in forever, which I'm a little sad about. I feel like I could have a little bit of muscle memory of it, but it's something I regret not pursuing
I
still.
mean, it can be that, it can be any number of things. Like once my mother passes, I don't know if I'll ever play cribbage again because
Mm.
that was a game I learned because she played it with my grandmother, and then I learned so that I could play with both of them. And
Mm.
like it's an old people game. People my age don't know how to play this thing, and I don't know if I'm going to have it in me to try and teach somebody how to play
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'll try and learn it if you want to play.
it.
I'd do it. I like learning new
No.
games. So
Maybe next time I'm over there, I'll bring my portable cribbage board.
do it. I think it'll be fun to play. I'd be down.
How
Um,
much are you willing to do mental math?
no, never mind. Forget. No, I'm kidding. Yes, I
Yeah.
would. I will do. I will do. I'm kidding. I will do mental math. I can do mental math. It's part of the fun. I actually don't mind doing that.
Okay.
All right. Well, Cass Fireborn says, "I am weirdly grateful for the existence of Jerry O'Connell, if only because it means one of the main four in Stand By Me didn't find child acting a miserable and scarring experience. Behind the scenes stuff for that movie is a mix of Wheaton and Feldman talking about their miserable childhoods, River Phoenix being dead, and O'Connell being like, people wanted me to run my mouth and be the center of attention. Bless him." Yeah.
Hey, for the rate at which child acting as a career ruins lives, a 1 out of 4 being okay sounds about right.
Yeah, no, and Will Wheaton has talked a lot about his family stuff that was like a big thing, and thankfully Star Trek weirdly one of the cases like was the Next Generation cast was a respite from that, which is an odd sort of difference there. Though yeah, it's still a major problem. I mean, Jesus Christ, look up what's been happening to the actors who played Toph in the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender show with Netflix. It is not good. So,
What
yep.
now? Why
I
is
mean,
that show still being made?
I mean, they already finished. They already shot all season three. I mean, here, this is the short version, and some of this is conjecture. So don't quote me one for one on this. So like, look up. Basically, I'll tell listeners look up the specifics for yourself in case I get any of the specifics wrong. But generally speaking, from what I can glean, the actress who played Toph, who was cast in season two, she was I think 16 or 17 at the time of casting, and she got into a relationship with the actor who played Jet on the show, who was I think much older than that. And there was accusations of grooming, and apparently the other actors on the Avatar show who were about the same age as the actress tried to tell her that was what was going on, and she pushed back against that and isolated herself from them. And so she was very isolated from them, and was in a very grooming relationship, and has posted some videos being very depressed and feeling very like out on the show, and also being like, oh, everyone hates the show, so what was all this fucking for? So yeah.
I mean, that part's not her fault, but
No,
yeah.
no, it is not. And to be fair to her, she is like all the actors in that show are not the problem of that show. They are all very good to great. So
I mean, at this point in time, I really do find that the actors are rarely the problem.
mm-hmm.
Like even when the acting is bad, more often than not, I can find something that shows me that, well, this person can act. They were either badly directed or they were given a script they didn't know how to handle.
Mm-hmm.
So like it is rarely the actors. I can like for some reason the one of the few instances where I'm like, no, I blame the actor that's sleeping into my head is series two of Torchwood. They try
Mm.
and have this end of season villain with it being Jack's younger brother.
Oh yeah, I do vaguely recall that.
And like the character is underwritten in the first place, but a lot of stuff's underwritten on Torchwood. That need not necessarily be the problem. But they cast somebody who looked a little like Jack Barrowman, but is a charisma void. Like
Which
the
is
camera slides off him. Like it's like nothing involved actually wants to hold a view of this guy, and like just no charisma, no screen presence at all. And
which
like
say
I'm
what
not
you will about
saying,
John Barrowman, many problems. He's got charisma out the
oh
ass.
yeah. So like I'm not saying that it would have been an amazing part with a properly charismatic actor, but it wouldn't have been what it was.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes an actor can. I mean, this is by the time this comes out, it'll have long since passed. But the that's actually one of my problems with House of the Dragon. I just watched the finale for season three. Was not a big fan of it, but the actor who plays Aegon, Tom Glencarney, I think is his name, he's having a ball playing that character, almost to a problem because it's like you're supposed to be a slime ball, and I like your character too much, and I think
Uh,
it's you're like you need to be playing this character much of a worse human being because I'm enjoying you. So,
I
alas.
like you and I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. He's having a ball, and so I'm glad someone is with that show because that finale was I mean maybe I'm the odd one out because everyone else seems to love it, but I was not a fan. So
Well, welcome to my world.
yeah. We
I
are we are cursed to constantly be the contrarian viewpoint, but I guess that's also the trans experience, isn't it?
it seems to be in a lot of cases. Like I put out a picture today, sort of teasing the fact that I started watching because of you. I blame you. I started watching the fourth season of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, and I got a frightening number of people being like, "Oh, it's so good." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, no, it's not."
Yeah, I
You
take no.
people raise your standards. God.
Yeah, no, that first episode that season was terrible, and I am shocked that people are like, "Oh, it's great! I had a lot of fun with it." I'm like, maybe it's. I have to wonder if it's because so many people were so out of season three that the only people that are still around are the ones who enjoyed season three. And no
I
shade,
mean,
no shade at anyone's intelligence. It's just
that
one
would
of
make
those
some
like,
kind of sense because if it weren't for you, I wouldn't be watching this after season
yes,
three.
yes.
And like also just the point that like we're not going to get into the problems with this because we're not here to review that damn show. But here's what I'm going to say. Like we talked about it a little bit before we started recording, and Jesse pointed out some of the implications and applicability of the story being told
Mhm.
in certain political contexts. I hadn't even clocked any of that, and I still thought it was trash. So,
Mhm.
like, while you could maybe if you felt like it, accuse somebody like Jesse of, oh, you're overthinking of it. I didn't overthink it at all, and I still thought it was shit. So
Yeah. No. Well, I told you it was a bad. That one was a bad one. It gets better as the
yep.
season goes along. Two is, in my opinion, pretty good. Three is fine, and
Oh,
then
wait a
four,
minute,
five,
wait a
six is
minute,
great.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. The pledge I got from you before was that two was great. And now you're telling me, now that I fucking started, it's like, oh, two's pretty good. What the fuck? What did you just drag me into?
You gotta finish it now. You gotta finish it now. You're in. I'm gonna ruin your opinion of my taste, aren't I?
And this podcast, what we are recording right now, has certainly done a lot of damage.
To be fair, I agree with you on Battlestar Galactica. I was a child, all right, but I gave you Babylon 5. That was a good one.
You did?
I did give you Babylon 5. So there we go.
So you're riding neutral right now.
Well, we'll hopefully get it up there, but it won't be today because today we're talking about Blood and Chrome, the Battlestar Galactica movie that they made a few years after Battlestar Galactica the show proper ended, as well as Caprica. And I had actually forgotten. It's not necessary for you to understand the plot of this at all. But there's actually a lot of references to Caprica's plot in this movie that I had kind of forgotten.
Oh,
Which is kind of like
okay.
the like mob stuff, the Halathoth stuff, and like the VR band that he uses. That's all Caprica shit. So
Okay.
yeah. Now that again, it's not necessary to know. But it's like, oh yeah, hey, there's some of that, continuity there, which is interesting at least.
I
Eh,
mean, you say movie, but like I checked it. It was originally aired as a web series.
Yeah, I think what it was, I'm trying to remember exactly, but I think what it was this was meant to be a pilot for a show, and then they shot it as the pilot, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, we're not going to do the pilot, so we'll release it as a web series, and then they put it all together back again as a movie, which was odd. It was just in a very odd way, but I think it originally started off as they wanted to do a prequel spin-off thing that was more because Caprica kind of didn't do well because it was so different from what Galactica was. It's a very different style of show, and this is much more in line with what Galactica was.
Caprica being a very different beast is the only reason I'm willing to sit through it.
It is a very, very different show.
Although, I've got to note something else here because one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that you've tried to say to me
Mm-hmm.
to reassure me about Caprica was Jane Espenson's involvement.
Mm-hmm.
Did you realize Jane Espenson is the credited writer on Deadlock?
Oh, is she? No.
Yes.
Oh boy.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and look, for clarity for folks, I understand, and if you don't know this already, I will explain. I understand that American style writers' rooms, especially at the time, it would be unfair to blame her with necessarily having come up with the core concepts of what was in that episode. Most major character arc decisions and stuff would have been done in the writers' room, either come up with or signed off on by Ronald D. Moore, but come up with collectively by the team of writers. However, she is the writer who is credited on the episode. And it's not just the overall concepts, a lot of the very specific granular details, the kind of stuff she would be responsible for, also make shit worse in that. If you get the credit, you take the blame.
Yeah, well, I will I just looked up her credit list, and it's what I'm going to say, mixed bag. I mean, I had a lot of love for her as a kid growing up because again, she was one of the few women writers in science fiction that I recognized, and I always
I
that
I
meant a lot to me.
understand like wanting to root for her. I get that. But goddamn, man.
I mean, mixed bag. So like she got her start for the most part on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She also did stuff with like Ellen, the Ellen DeGeneres sitcom. But mainly was Buffy. I'm trying to like figure out if it's been a long time since I watched Buffy, so I can't remember like what episodes are here. Like Band Candy, Gingerbread, Earshot, Pangs, Doomed, A New Man, Superstar, Triangle, I Was Made to Love You, Afterlife, Flooded. I don't know if any of those are ringing
There,
any bells.
well, most of them ring bells. They're not all great. There's some good ones in there for
Yeah,
sure. Like
there's more.
there's some solid picks.
Yeah, there's even more that I didn't reference there. But then she went on to Battlestar Galactica and Caprica, as is noted here. And then Torchwood, Miracle Day.
which I still haven't even watched.
Again, I remember being like, "Oh, this was fine." Like it wasn't my memory was like it's fine. It's not trash, but it's not memorable in any particular way outside of the Doctor Who of it all. But again, it's been many, many years, so who the hell knows? Maybe it didn't age well. Then a show called Husbands. Then she was on Once Upon a Time for all of its run, the entire series run. Then she was on Game of Thrones, starting with season 6. She was one
Season
of
6 was the last good season, to be fair.
yeah, she wrote one episode, which was episode 1. Sorry, no, I read this wrong. She wrote episode 6 of season 1 of Game of
Oh,
Thrones.
okay.
So that's much better. Sorry, I read it wrong. Jessica Jones, which she was a
Which
consultant on.
season?
She was a consultant on it for the first or the entire show, and then wrote the 11th episode of the third season.
The season I didn't even bother watching.
Was another one that was fine. The Nevers, and then also Foundation, season 2 onwards, which I will actually say I do like Foundation quite a lot. So Foundation is solid. So yeah, mixed bag.
Very.
Yeah, very, very, very mixed bag.
I am going to have a very hard time not holding Deadlock against her when taking in future works because like her name's on it, man. Her name's on it, and it is one of the most misogynistic pieces of television I've ever sat all the way through instead of turning off and walking away from.
Mm.
Like it's really fucking gross, that episode.
Oh, she just wrote a new episode. She wrote the 4th episode of season 2 of Fallout too. That was her most recent credit. So she's still around.
I meant to circle back around to that second season. I still haven't.
But it's fine. Not as good as season 1, but not.
See, that's
again,
the thing.
not
That's
terrible.
what I've kind of heard. And not like in a, oh, I'm done with it kind of way, but like, I think I'm kind of in a pattern now where I'm like, I'm going to wait and see if season 3 picks up again because if I hear it's another, oh, it's fine, then maybe I'll just treat it like another one season show.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go about it. It's like season 2 is not bad, but it's not necessarily worth your time. But if season 3 comes around and it's great, then yeah, power through season 2. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, IQ for me is always like, if this was like a series or a franchise that I have reviewed before, how much do people get on me about reviewing the later entries? Not really. Like this is the same reason why I dragged my feet on getting to Fantastic Four, and I prioritized Thunderbolts over it by quite a bit because I'm like, people actually wanted me to watch Thunderbolts. Nobody seemed to care if I watched Fantastic Four.
Well, speaking of dragging your feet, let's actually get into the recap
Fine.
of Blood and Chrome instead of going over Jane Espenson's filmography here. So we start off the episode with a young Bill Adama, who I'm going to refer to probably mostly as Husker throughout this episode, even though he technically doesn't get that call sign to the end of the movie. But that's just what I wrote him in my notes. So young Bill Adama is writing a letter to his dad, who again was a character on Caprica. So again, Caprica connections here, and there's a couple little, offhanded references to.
I mean, like I know he's like an actual character in Caprica, but like if you've only seen Battlestar Galactica, you still know who his dad is. He was
Yes, but there's
enough
like some
about.
specific references. Also, all of these shots of the Cylons that we see at the top of this episode of this right here with like them working and like them like revolting and stuff. That's all from Caprica. Like literally all of these shots are from Caprica
Okay.
itself. So I was like, oh yeah, these are taken just straight. They just reused VFX shots from Caprica for this. But yeah, he's writing to his dad. Like we were I questioned whether I should join this fight. We're the ones who let these robots into our lives. They're the ones, the violent revolts against us. A lot of debates about why they hate us. Doesn't matter. It's kill or be killed is sort of like his mindset. Our survival hangs in the balance, and the pilot is the best way that I know how to, help.
So my initial note, and for the purposes of this movie, it ultimately didn't matter either way. But I'm gonna kind of jump to the end slightly.
Mm-hmm.
This is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it didn't get a series because I don't know what the hell you do with this
Yeah, neither do I. Yeah.
long term. And part of the reason I'm glad that it didn't get a series is as part of his opening voiceover is he's like, there's people debating why do they hate us? And does it even matter? And I just wrote down, yes. Yes, it matters why they hate you. And it's one of those things where, like, while that's a sentiment that makes sense for the character, when it's literally the first thing I'm hearing, I'm like, is this a fucking mission statement from
Mhm.
from this thing that it's going to come to the conclusion, no, it doesn't matter? Because yes, it does. For the purposes of the story being told in this movie, that question actually doesn't even really come up. But something in my gut tells me that that might have been intended as kind of a mission statement for a series if it had gotten one.
Yeah, I think what it is for me, I mean, I don't know if I entirely agree. I think like the point of this movie, like thematically, is Adama is just in a kill or be killed mentality, and the at least goal of this show is to be like you should actually care and like have connections and care more about what the actual purpose of this is rather than just like I just want to kill things. And have more emotional investment in the world around you. Now, it does not necessarily put that on the hat of why do the Cylons give a shit about this, but I think that that was kind of it's in the milieu of stuff, especially as with the reveal
I
of the
get what
villain at
it's
the end of this
trying to
movie.
do, and for the purposes of this movie, it's fine. It would have made for a very boring show.
Oh, I don't disagree on that point. Yes, for sure. I'm just saying, like thematically, there's a point to that it's trying to go for, which is like, yes, it does matter. I think was like ultimately what the show was angling for. It's like, yeah, it does matter. Um, we were gonna explore that as a point. Anyways, we then see Husker in a firefight with Cylons. Uh, he basically is a very hotshot pilot. Like at one point, he like shoots off his
This
Viper.
this is like practically a parody level Hot Shot Pilot. Like the shit that
Mhm.
goes on in this, and like it does kind of get covered because it's going to be revealed to be a holographic
Yes.
simulation. But like as it's happening, I'm like, this is the way I would write a Hot Shot Pilot if I was trying to take the piss out of the concept of the Hot Shot Pilot. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah, he like shoots off his Viper gets hit, so he can't see out the cockpit. So he shoots off the cockpit, and it's just getting radiation explosions. Like you're gonna be dead in 30 seconds. And then he pulls out a gun because his
Yeah,
Viper guns
he
start working.
like
So he pulls out his pistol and shoots the Cylon ship with a pistol.
he does. He does. What is this? This is actually straight from Top Gun. He does this move where he's over the other guy, sort of inverted, looking down, and yeah, he pulls his sidearm to just shoot it. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's very, very dumb, but in a way that, like, honestly, it's the kind of dumb that's like, oh, this is probably the most fun I have the entire movie. You know what I mean? In the same way that if you watched our Babylon 5 show, in that they had the Legend of the Rangers show. And like that show was okay. Like, a lot of people said it was terrible. We watched the movie, and I think I recall us getting like our general consensus was like it was fine,
It
but the
was yeah.
weird, but the
It did not
weird
need to exist, but it was fine.
Yes, but the weirdest decision of the movie, the one that people most derided, was the sort of like VR room where the character was like punching to use the like ship's weapons, and it was ridiculous. The visuals were ridiculous, and everyone makes fun of it. But you and I were kind of the vibe of like it was interesting and silly and dumb in a way that's
It
memorable, you know?
it was a big swing. It did not work at all. It was the stupidest fucking thing. But you couldn't say that they phoned it in.
Yeah, I was like, they went for it, and I appreciated that. And it is the most memorable thing about that movie outside of Jakar, Jakar being in it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a side point. But yeah, I think that is a similar vibe going on here with this sequence. But yes, so this turns out to all have been a VR experience, a sim that he is doing as part of his Viper training pilot program. And then we cut to him being taken up to the Galactica where he has been assigned, and he is just being all sorts of egotistical hotshot pilot. He's like, I'm
Yep.
fresh out of the academy. I'm itching to fly Vipers. Only worry is, and there's like one of the other girls that were sort of talking to him is like, I bet your only worry is the war will be over before you get to prove how much of an ace pilot you are. And he's like, I don't even worry about that. I don't even give a shit. And then he starts like hitting on the girls and she's like, oh, down boy. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's just
My
being
my
all
first
sorts of
note on him was just, well, I don't like Baby Adama.
yeah.
And like here's the thing. I suppose I'm not going to blame the actor, but this is slightly an actor problem because okay, I know everyone likes to rag on Tom Cruise because he's kind of weird and kind of creepy and he's linked up with Scientology and all that. I get it. But look, the man has an incredible charisma that comes across incredibly well on the camera. And the reason I say that is because the reason the vast majority of Maverick Top Gun style characters not working is because they are played by actors who don't have the charisma level of Tom Cruise. And if you don't have the charisma level of Tom Cruise, this guy is just a dick.
Yeah, exactly. And like thankfully this is the worst that he gets in this movie. I actually don't hate
Oh,
him
he gets
later
taken
on.
down multiple pegs very quickly. Thank God.
Yes. So yes, they arrive on the Galactica. We get our obviously our porn shot of the Galactica, like, ooh, look how pretty it is. Isn't she a handsome lady? Sequence there.
All shiny and new.
Yeah, yeah. Look at it's Kirk watching the Enterprise with Scotty for 20 minutes. Is that shot? Um Actually, you know what this kind of gives me? Actually, at least this opening sequence. It feels
What's
like a
that?
speed run of Star Trek 2009 with Kirk and Chris Pine's sort of stuff with like the Kobayashi Maru and the shot of the Enterprise and then him going up with McCoy, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, a
It's
little
not
bit.
it's
And
not
this came
exactly
out
the
after
same.
that, didn't it?
It did. So it's not
Yeah.
exactly the same, but it gives that vibe.
It's the same thematic beats for for
Yes.
the first act or so.
I want to make sure it did come out because it might not have. I feel, yeah, 2012. So like
Oh
it was
yeah.
written relatively recently after that. So that's probably was in the
Yeah,
mind
that
of the
God, that
writer.
was close to the release of Into Darkness.
Yeah, yeah. So they were probably pulling from that in some shape or form as a touchstone. Anyways, they arrive on the Galactica, and this is one thing to note that this movie is mostly shot all on green screens. So like
You
instead
can
of the correct,
tell.
yeah, a lot of it's on green screens. So we get to see like the big busy hangar bay of the Galactica, and
Like honestly, the hangar base some of the better stuff because they usually have at least one foreground prop that's real.
yes.
Like there'll be there's the Raptor right there, and then it's green screen behind that. You're like, yeah, okay, we're gonna have stuff later, especially on the planet. It's like,
Oh boy.
oh, honey, no.
Yeah. So we get to the inside of the Galactica hangar bay at its peak. And Adama's going through and he sees this guy, Deke Torval, who is sort of one of Adama's heroes at the Academy. He has 30 kills, and he's not really much of a character in this movie, but presumably he would have been a character on the show had it continued. Would be my guess is why he's sort of presented here.
Yeah, I guess.
But yes, he sort of goes and meets the chief of the Galactica. I didn't really catch his name, but he's like, "Yeah, I don't wanna get to my bunk. I just point me at my plane. I'm ready to go." And he gets assigned to the Weasel, and of course, he thinks it's the Viper, but turns out he's been assigned to a Raptor, which he grates against. He's like, "Oh, it's like a bus. I'm being assigned to a bus when I should be on a Viper." And the chief sort of chews him out. It's like things are not going well. I need Raptor drivers more than I need Viper pilots. So he gets assigned
Hmm.
to the Weasel. He goes over there to his new Raptor and he meets, who we'll later learn in just a second, Corker, who is his co-pilot, who is
Coker.
Coker, who is his co-pilot. And he has a chip on his shoulders, like, I don't want to get familiar with you. I'm few days from my retirement is the vibes, like 47 days left in his tour. And
Yep.
he was assigned here. So he is sort of forced to be part of military service during all of this. And Adama asked him, well, what happened to your last pilot? And said, oh, I'm mopping up what's left of him. He was not
Yeah,
my
because
friend, but he's worth 10 Huskers like you. Hey, look, it's how he got his name.
now here's something that this made me realize.
Mm-hmm.
Given that, because I noted when we'd heard what Adama's call sign was in the main show, like that's a terrible call sign.
Mm-hmm.
But between this and characters like Hot Dog and Chuckles and Racetrack, and honestly, even Starbuck is kind of neutral, there seems to be a bit of a tradition of pilots taking a call sign that is at least a little bit of an insult.
Mm-hmm.
Because like even it's not framed like this, but I could see even Starbuck being like hot shot, like um, kind of thing. And it just made me suddenly realize, wow, how much of an ego trip was Apollo on?
Yeah.
Like everyone else around him is picking call signs that are like Like it's a little self-deprecating. This is a mean nickname people call me. This was the insult my first CO came up with for me. And like apparently in a long tradition, we've now seeing it extending back to his dad, and he picks the name of a god. You spoiled nepo baby shit.
I'm just so fucking cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it like, and again, I know that like meta reason is Apollo was the call sign of the character on the
Yes, yes,
original,
of
but
course.
like I understand that's the real version. But in universe, God, it makes me think even less of Lee than I already did.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, they get called up to the CIC of Galactica, which is weirdly vastly different than the actual C. Again, I know it's green screen, they were recreating it, but it like looks nothing like the original Galactica
Well,
CIC.
they for the most part they keep it in on tight shots. I
Mm,
suspect because they didn't have the means or time to rebuild the set. So
yeah,
like have it like tight shots and we'll try and green screen something.
yeah. Anyways, so they go up to meet the captain, and this is where we get some Caprica references, like the captain references Adama's Halatha family connections, which is stuff we'll discover more about in Caprica. And he sort of says, "Oh, well, I heard you're one of the best pilot candidates, and you know it too. You're a cocky son of a bitch. Well, I assign my cocky sons of a bitches to milk runs until they cool down. So you're going to take a cargo run, 4-day round trip. You're to avoid enemy contacts." And this sort of gets Coker excited because it's like, "Ooh, I get to wind down the clock of my 47 days left of my tour, doing stuff that I don't give a shit. Like that's not dangerous."
Yeah.
So Adama and Coker are sort of talking about this, and Adama's sort of like, "Ugh, wish I could do something more interesting." Coker's like, don't worry about it. Like this is great." And Husker Adama sees Captain Torvald's scars on his back because they're sort of like changing in the I believe in the bathroom or whatever. Goes over to him and says, "Hey, I've been following your record. I
Oh,
hope to
so
be
you
half the."
skipped over the whole shower scene
No,
then.
no, no, no. That's next. It's next. That's
I could
very
have
next.
sworn it was before this, but okay.
Well, that's where it's in my notes here. He says, "I hope to be half the pilot you are." And Torvald says, let you in on a secret. It's bullshit, all of it." Then we go to the shower scene that you were talking to.
Uh-huh.
So the women that Adama was sort of, beefing himself up in front of earlier are there naked because, of course, we need naked women in this
I mean,
show.
look, here's because at this point I might as well grade this thing on the fucked curve it wants to be graded on because who fucking cares? But here's what I will grant. While my note is literally, quote, "we boobs" in all lowercase on purpose,
Hmm.
um, there is in reality, I only caught one like clear shot where we saw a nipple.
Hmm.
And given that this is presented as a movie where they could get away with more, this was the opportunity for them to just have tits left and right, and they don't. I would rather they had none, but like honestly, for the situation that they created, that like this is more restrained with its use of nudity than the plan was, for sure.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, random thing about the plan that
Hmm.
occurred to me.
Yes.
So we had this whole thing where we noted that there was like one six who was like one of the darker haired sixes, and like in the little meeting with all the Cylons she was like the one who was gung-ho, is like, oh well, let's just get weapons and gun them all down. And then later on they had to slap the wig on her to like in that really stupid moment. I would bet money that was supposed to be Deanna. That was written to be Deanna. And then
Mm.
when they couldn't get Lucy Lawless, they quick retrofit it to be a different six.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Because
Easily.
everything about her personality and like the way she talks to them, like that feels like Lucy Lawless should be saying that. And also, even though it would still have been stupid, it would have made the wig moment make more sense to
Hmm.
slap a wig on a woman who doesn't even really look like her, but it just needs to throw these people off, as opposed to literally slapping a wig on the same fucking woman.
Yep. Yep. Weird. Yeah, I think that is almost certainly true. Um, But anyways, yes. Adama is basically being like, I wish I could do more, and the girls are teasing him. He's like, oh, he wants to make a name for himself. He kill the machines, and he's like, I want to kill machines before they kill us. And Coker is sort of like, ah, yeah, hoorah! Don't be in such a rush, kid. And then we get a moment where Adama, there's this other girl
Hold
that's
on, let's
there.
let's back up on that. Don't be such a rush because that's not Coker's line.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's the line of one of the women, and there's a lead in that I actually really liked
Mm-hmm.
because Adama's all like, I just want to get out there and kill the machines. And yes, then Coker does his yeah, hoorah. And one of the women goes, "We all know why we're out here. Don't be in such a rush," which is a sideways way of saying we're all just out here to die,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
which I was a pretty dark line, and I like the way it was delivered.
Yeah, no, it was well handled. Immediately followed by a scene that I don't like because there's another girl that's in there that Adama sort of gives a look to, yeah, like and has like a oh that's my towel moment, like oh that sort of thing.
And their hands touched and
I
fucking
wonder what
hell.
they'll do by the end of the movie. uh, anyways, we then cut to Husker and Coker talking again, and they start talking about Adama's dad. Again, this is some stuff from Caprica because they're sort of talking about how he's a mob lawyer. And Coker's like, well, he could have wrangled, a mob lawyer could have wrangled his son out of this. And he's like, no, he was a defense attorney. And, I chose this. And Coker's sort of like, no one gave me a choice. So he's sort of forced to have been involved in all of this. We also see they get an ordnance package that they say is short on their air-to-air missiles. They don't have all of their weapons that they need, and they sort of ask about their cargo, which, surprise, is the girl that Adama saw earlier, whose name is Becca, and she says she's a civilian software engineer. So, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So they head out on the Raptor. Adama's sort of being his sort of chauvinist kind of self. It's like, oh, yes, flight time to the Scorpion, 2 days. We'll see absolutely nothing, so please remain seated on Wild Weasel Airlines, that sort of thing. She's not amused, really, but Coker's sort of like, hey, I know her type. We're just a hired help to her. And then once they get out of the Galactica's range, she gives them a new set of orders. It's from the Admiralty. It gives them a new set of coordinates, and they're supposed to rendezvous near Cylon space, and they're to follow all of her orders to the letter. And Adama appreciates this. He's grinning because he's like, haha, milk run my ass.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Coker is not about it.
Nope.
So.
At this point, I like Coker a lot because his snarky little "why the fuck do I have to be here" lines mirrored my own attitude.
Yes, he's like, oh fuck, I don't want to be involved in any of this. Um,
I'm almost done. I just gotta make it through this, and they'll let me go home.
you're almost there, Vera. We see a shot of Cylons on the ground in some battle, and it turns out Adama is watching this on the VR band. Which
Okay, I'm gonna go off on this now because apparently, if you're telling me the VR bands are from Caprica, it'll save me
they're
go
they're
out.
they're a very important part of Caprica, yes.
They're very stupid. They're very stupid, and I mean this like in a technological progression way. Battlestar Galactica shows nothing that is an equivalent or an extension of or a replacement for this tech. Because like the implication is like it's like a VR headset for lack of a better way to put it. It's just sleeker. And like you're watching sort of hologram projection sort of it looks 3D sort of thing. Fine, except that there's pretty much literally nothing like that in the show Galactica.
Mm.
What should happen is that if these themselves are not around, they should have a technology that is like, what's the next natural evolution after this? Which would probably be like the hologram ship from Star Wars or something, would
Hmm.
be like the next natural evolution from this. But that's not around either. This is the kind of shit that prequels do all the time, and it pisses me off. They introduce a piece of tech that is either advanced to the point that it matches what is in the stuff that's later, or it's actually more advanced than the shit that we've seen that is set later. Or in this case, this is actually a unique one. something that appears to have been a technological dead end because there's no follow-up on this tech.
So, what I will say, and this is going off of memory, we'll see if this actually, if I recall, is true in Caprica. So just to give you, this is like episode 1 of Caprica stuff. So this is not any spoilery thing. The hologram VR tech, sorry, the VR technology, these bands are the most important thing of Caprica. Like they are the thing the show is based around. And that show is very much about like Elon Musk style tech bros. I guess more for around that time, it was more Jeff Zuckerberg kind of tech bro-y people. And it is very much about the
Mark
force.
Zuckerberg,
Mark, sorry.
Jeff Bezos.
I'm sorry. I'm tired. I have had not a lot of sleep today. Sorry. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, those kind of folks is what the show is about. And part of the conversation of the show is technology that tech bros force upon us that we don't actually want. What an oddly relevant topic that is today.
Okay, so I guess
So
I will open myself to the possibility that they actually explore this. But like on its face, me encountering it here, my immediate thought is that's stupid.
Well, it is. So I will come about this the other direction and say it's stupid that it's here, not for necessarily the reasons that you are saying, though that is a good perspective having not seen Caprica. But me having seen Caprica is like, it shouldn't be here. And it's only here because it's a reference to Caprica, even though given what happens in Caprica, it makes no sense to be here. Like it shouldn't.
So it's stupid from either direction.
Yes. Yes.
Complete failure of execution. Nice job,
It is
everybody.
literally here to my mind. Like this whole little sequence here is here to my mind to be a, hey, look, this is the thing from Caprica. You remember that?
Except
So
the thing that's weird is we're gonna see these things again later on.
yeah. So it is
Like
odd.
not like as a plot beat, they don't matter, but we are gonna keep seeing them.
Yeah. So it's odd as a piece of this. So anyways, he this sort of spurns a conversation with Becca between with Adama, and he learns that she used to work for the company that designed the Cylons, Greystone Industries. Hey, the main character of Caprica is named Greystone. What a shock. It's again a reference. She worked on the Cylons and designed their brain. So Adama's like, you're the one that helped improve the machines that are killing us? What the fuck? Oh, that's terrible. So yeah, that's the plot of Caprica, by the way, is you follow the company that made the Cylons initially. So
Okay.
yes. All right. So they move on and they find they get to where they're going, and they find that the ship that they were supposed to meet up with, the Arcanon, has been destroyed. Just out and out destroyed. A body hits the hull and they're like, ah, fuck, there's no one here.
That
And
that body hitting their windshield, I won't lie, that actually got me.
yeah,
Partially because they didn't do the classic thing of like framing the shot with an obvious gap where something was going to suddenly
up here.
pop up. Because that's like, especially if you watch too much media, that is such a giveaway. Like, the way they frame that shot is weird. There's a bunch of dead space over. Oh, something's gonna pop up over in the
Mm,
dead space. Right. They didn't frame it like that. So when the body hit the windscreen, it actually got me a little bit. I was like, oh, damn. Okay.
yeah, yeah. But then they get attacked by 3 Cylon contacts, so they pull a Force Awakens, a Star Wars Force Awakens, sort of run through the bowels of the ship, and essentially Husker manages to save the day because he does some hotshot piloting, which I
Yeah,
thought,
we don't need to go blow for blow for this. It looks fine.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
good, yeah.
it's as far as Hot Shot Pilot action goes, it's fine. It's not worth
Mhm.
going for point through.
Nope. But anyways, they sort of had this conversation of, oh, well, shit, we should get our asses home. Coker wants to be out. Like this is all terrible. And Beck is like, no, we can't go back to the Galactica. Hail this frequency, and your orders are to do what I say. And Adama sort of fights Coker on this. And they get coordinates back pretty immediately, as if someone was camped out on the frequency and the coordinates that they get are in Cylon space. Again, Coker's like, no, and is does not want to do this. And Huster's like, no, this is what we're doing. You have 2 months left on your tour. What do you want to do? Go back to prison? I am the pilot of the ship. You're the co-pilot. So he sort of lays down the law. And they head out to the coordinates. They get there. Well, I'm sorry, excuse me. As they were traveling there, we have another little sequence where Adama wakes up Becca and she says the name Ezra. And he sort of asks her about this. You were talking in your sleep. You called me Ezra. You don't have to explain. And she says, well, it's my husband's name, Ezra Barzoon. And Dom's like, oh, I know him. He's the guy who took out an entire platoon. He was an inspiring man. And she says, yes, he was an inspiring man and a good husband, was her phrasing.
Yep.
So they arrive at the coordinates in Cylon-held space, and they start to get a bunch of Raiders contacts, and they realize that there's a bunch of Cylon signal, or not Cylon signals, colonial signals. They are asked to give a password call and response challenge, and of course, right at the last minute, Becca is able to give the response right before they're about to get blown up, because we need tension, false tension.
All right. Two things. First of all, I'm just going to note real quick. If I suddenly go away, it's because I lose power, because I'm sure that it's being filtered out by Zoom, but like the thunder is very loud.
Yeah, I'm not hearing any of it, so.
Yeah, no, it's quite loud. But the other thing is, so this is where I wrote down, okay, so she just sucks. Here's the reason. Because I know that officially the reason is tension, as you noted. But again, dealing with what they actually show me.
Mm-hmm.
They hear from this guy who's like gives, it's a call and response. Please give a password to the prompt, whatever the hell it was. And obviously, neither Husker nor Coker knows what the hell is going on. We see her start to flip through a page, like to find the right response, so that like at the last minute she can give it. I'm like, you knew they were going to ask for a password, and you're only just now, after not only he has given you the initial prompt, but also has started a 5-second countdown. Now you're just fucking checking your notes on what it was. She sucks.
Yeah, she does, and she will continue to. Anyways, they do give the call or response there, and they arrive at what appears to be a fleet of ships. And Coker notes, like, oh, this was a Battlestar that was reported destroyed. The Valkyrie, like, all of these are ships that were presumed destroyed, and they created a ghost fleet of ships in Cylon space. So this is sort of a secret fleet that the colonial Navy has created.
Probably the most interesting idea of this thing.
Yes, very much so. They arrive on the ship, the Osiris, and they're sort of taken at gunpoint there. And we see Commander Kelly, weirdly enough.
Yes! So, Ty Olsson is the actor, officially credited as Osiris Helmsman.
Yes, different character in this one, but yes, the actor played Commander Kelly in Galactica.
Obviously has to be, like, even if this character didn't die, spoilers, just age-wise, it doesn't line up. Part of me is like, okay, that's kind of neat, but then another part of me is like, is it a good idea to, even in a semi-cameo way, bring back an actor who's been on your show before, when a major aspect of your series is that there are multiple versions of literally the same person?
That was my thing too. It's like, oh, it's cute, it's nice to have him here, but it's like, why? No, this creates a whole continuity fucking thing. Yeah,
that's the thing. Normally I'd be like, oh, that's kind of cute, because like, especially because he's shot in mostly red lighting, you might not catch it right off, so it's not like he's highlighted in a way that you immediately catch it. It is one of those like, hey, wait a minute kind of things. And normally I'd say that's cute, especially for a character and supporting actor like his entire career has been, throwing the guy a bone and giving him another job. That's great. Except in this series, this franchise specifically, because of the shit that goes on in this fucking series, it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because it just raises a million questions of, wait, did they just reveal that this guy was a Cylon? No.
Spoilers, Vera. I ruined the finale of Galactica for you. Commander Kelly comes back and is the person behind everything in the finale, and this is just part of that. No,
honestly, I would probably prefer that to whatever we're gonna get.
Well, we'll get that soon enough. But yes, It is Commander Kelly. We get to also meet the commander of the Osiris. So we have the commander, and I'm just gonna call him Commander Kelly here. I guess helmsman. So commander and helmsman of the Osiris, and the commander sort of gives a detail for a raptor for Dr. Kelly, but Adama volunteers them for the mission. He's like, hey, I want to be the one to do it, and the commander initially says no, but Becca sort of comes up and says, no, I want to stick with them if I can. And so the manager's like, all right, have it your way. And then she tells Kelly, helmsman, make sure other pilots are all volunteers. And Coker's like, see, volunteers, you just signed up for us up for a one-way trip, essentially a suicide mission.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We basically get the sort of briefing about this mission. They're going to a winter moon that is definitely not Hoth. That's called Djurba, I think was what I caught it, what it was. But essentially,
Something
it's a
like that.
ski resort planet. Is essentially what they say is that it was a ski resort planet before the war. The Silence caught it pretty quickly after the war. So they're supposed to get in there and then get Becca to meet with a group of Marines that are on the planet, and then they'll take her to her objective that is somewhere on the planet. We don't necessarily know what that is just yet.
Yeah.
There is a quick little scene here where, as they're all prepping to go on the mission, Coker goes and finds one of his friends who is one of the Viper pilots here on the Osiris named Jim Kirby. And basically, he's like, hey, I thought you were dead. And he sort of says, I saw your wife after you were supposedly passed away. And he's like, oh, are you telling me that she, ended up with someone else? She's dating someone else now. And he's like, no, she's got a boy. He's got, her hair and, her face, but he's got your eyes. And so this excites Jack. He's like, oh, I've got a son. And he's, very, very excited about this. And he also learns that the kid was named after his dad.
Yeah.
So,
So two things about this. The scene, actually really sweet.
mm-hmm.
These actors do a great job at bringing that camaraderie, chemistry, and giving you a sense of history between them. I think the performances are terrific, and I immediately wrote down, okay, so he's gonna die.
Yeah, right. He's like, oh man, he's definitely
Yeah,
about to
like
die.
death flags for days, fucking pulling this, but it's still a sweet scene.
Yeah, no, it's a nice scene. I did
Only
enjoy it.
mildly undercut by me knowing the tropes of this fucking genre.
What I will also give it is like, yes, of course, Jack is going to die. What I do like about it is it is a moment to show that Coker is not completely disaffected from the world, and also seems to have more connections in a way that Adama does not create. So it kind of goes to that theme of like Adama's not been creating connections. He does it. He just wants to fight. He's very much like I am a soldier and I'm only going to be a soldier. Whereas Coker creates a little bit more familial relationships with the people around him. So it kind of, I'll give it at least a little bit more beyond the, okay, this guy's about to die, in that it also kind of ties into the theme a little bit. So, yeah. Um, we then have the Osiris mission being carried out. So they jump to the planet, and right when they do, a Cylon base star shows up. I will also note that this is the old design of the base star that I think we saw a little bit in, I think, like Razor we saw, but also is the base star design that we see in the original Battlestar Galactica series. So just that was kind of an interesting little beat there. But
Alrighty.
anyways, they sort of note like, all right, if we're in stealth mode now, they haven't picked us up, but if we launch, which we're supposed to do, they're going to see us. So what do you want us to do? And the commander basically chooses to engage, knowing that it's going to essentially to their death is the vibe.
Yep.
So they say it's critical that Becca reaches her objective. The fate of the war rests on this. So they engage the Battlestar. Essentially, a whole battle sequence occurs here. I'll sort of give the quick notes of it. Is the Osiris gets hit very hard, the nuke doors malfunction, so they essentially have to ram the base star, and they blow themselves up to destroy the base star. I will say it is kind of interesting when the Osiris lands on the base star. It like lands in the middle section of it, which I thought was kind of
Yeah.
interesting. Um, though it is play now that I'm saying that, it is played as if it lands in the base star, and I forgot they're in space. So it doesn't make sense that it like sort of crashes in like lands there. But regardless, so they blow themselves up to take out the base star. Poor Commander Kelly dies in both in both universes or whatever versions, whatever you want to call this. And then a similar thing happens on the way down to the planet. As we sort of say, they get attacked as they head down to the planet, and Jack Kirby, in an attempt to save them, also gets killed. And Adama manages to take out the last of the Cylon ships that's chasing them, but it also causes them to crash their Raptor as well.
One of the other very bad looking effects. So
Yeah, I wrote this
the
too. Raider goes down hard in terrible CGI is one of the notes
well,
that I wrote.
even before that, even before it goes down. So the move that Adama pulls is to expel excess fuel out the back so that it sprays across the Raider and then
Mm-hmm.
fires afterburners to blow it up. For some reason, somebody decided to color the fuel that is expelled this kind of brownish green. It looks like a fart cloud. It looks like the Raptor lit its own fart to destroy this thing. I'm
uh,
sorry, it does.
no, I don't disagree. That's very true. That's very true. That's kind of funny. Well, they do land on the planet. And so Coker's again like, do you know how many people died on that ship? And Adama's like 150, not counting the pilots. Is like, oh well, let's count the pilots. We're not going anywhere. And they sort of have an argument. And Coker doesn't want to do. He's like, I'm done. I'm out on this. But Becca sort of argues, well, the best way to get home is with the Marines. We don't really have any alternatives. And Coker's like, all right, fine, but I that bird kept me safe for many years. I hate leaving her like this. So
Yeah.
they abandon the Raptor. They go and find the Marines' transponder, and they're in an ice cave. Turns out they're all dead. Oh no, fuck. And Husker sort of goes in the cave. He starts to hear something in the ice, but when he turns around, both Coker and Becca fall through the ice. So he heads down after them, and they all get stuck down in the ice.
So
And
before you get to the next bit,
Mhm.
Coker is giving Husker shit all the way through this. And this was the point at which I wrote, okay, Coker's negativity is starting to now grate on me.
Mhm.
Like there was something about like it was kind of endearing when they were on the Battlestar and he's ribbing the new guy, he's ribbing the rookie. Maybe he's a little bit actual jaded as well. But now we're on mission. We're in the life or death situation. I'm like, dude, fucking stop.
Yeah. It's like this isn't helping. What are you gonna do? What are the options here, man?
Yeah, stop running bits.
Yeah. Well, they do fall down the hole, and then they get attacked by what is it? An ice snake. Yeah.
Yeah, with glowing red eyes for some fucking reason.
Well, we learn why in a minute,
I
but
know aesthetically why, but like, cut the fuck, man.
yeah, and it's not and like I normally I would be down for this. I always love like weird monster shit, especially ice monster shit. I love ice sequences. I love movies set in snow. And if it's a movie set in snow, you automatically get a little bit of a boost from me because I like stuff set in snow. But it's shot weirdly. Like we don't get a good look at this snake until it's already dead, probably for budget saving reasons. But it's odd.
I mean, you mentioned Hoth. This whole section like just feels like it's cribbing its nose from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I mean all of this kind. I mean the whole movie kind of is. It's clearing from Star Trek, from Star Wars. Yeah,
Yeah, but like we're on Hoth. Here's our Wampa. Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, they are saved by this guy named Toth, who shows up, saves them. He's the tech sergeant from the Marines. Saves them and basically tells them like the toasters, his word, not mine, are testing.
Doesn't mean you can say it, bitch.
Uh, well, they've been testing out cyborg critters, half machine, half organic, and he's been eating them to survive. He sort of offers them some of the food. I do like when he eats it, he like takes a bite of it and then he pulls out like a transpond, like a little piece of like, I don't know, a transponder or whatever from his mouth, like a bone, like you would if like you were like peeling some bones out of a fish. So I did
Yeah.
enjoy that as a beat. Anyways, yeah, he's like, all right, everyone I can't get you to the objective yet because there's a storm coming and I have a secure location. And they start like Becca starts giving him some shit, but then Toth sort of grabs Coker and says he'll die in 8 seconds if I don't like let go of his artery here. He's gonna go unconscious in a second. And obviously Adama who has gone out at this too, sort of like pulls back on this. So they follow Toth to his secure location as they wait for the storm to pass over, and it's a ski lodge. So he warns them, and he has a bunch of tripwires and mines all over the place. And so they get into the ski lodge, and Toth says that he will take first watch.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we get to the scene that is, I'm sure, your favorite, Vera. Because Husker goes to see Becca and starts asking her about what her husband was like. And she says he was a lot like you, idealistic, ambitious. He was a professor, but then he realized when everything was going on, he couldn't let history pass. He never wanted to be a hero, but they made him one anyways. And they even resurrected him in V-World, which again is referencing the Caprica stuff. Turns out a reporter found out that everything about him was a fabrication. His scouting party was shot by his own men. It was friendly fire. And so it's shit happens, and so she sort of gets going off on this ideology that Adama sort of has been saying this whole movie, which is, us versus them, all for the war, everything they tell you to make you give up what really matters. That's why this war has to end. And Husker says, I understand, believe me, I understand. Goes in to kiss her, and she says, you're going to regret this, but then of course they sex.
The depressing thing, I can't even blame Ron for this because his name is nowhere on this fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. Mm. There's nothing sexier than a woman who tells you about her dead husband.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sure gets my engine revved up.
Yep.
But like it must happen because man and woman are in room alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it must.
Must sex.
Yeah.
It's oh God.
Also, like the implication. I mean, we don't get age, but the implication is she's significantly older than him, or at least a decent chunk older than him.
I mean,
Like she was working, because again,
she had whatever schooling she needed to be working at the corporation, working on the higher level stuff there before the war even started. So yes, even if I were to look up the age of the actress and find out that she's around the same age as the actor playing Husker, it doesn't wash. Within narrative, it makes no sense for her to be honestly within 8 years of his age.
mm-hmm. And again, if we look at Caprica, Dama in that show is because he's a character in that show, and I think he's like 12. And that's about when all of this shit that she's talking about is going down, maybe a little after.
Oh,
So,
Jesus.
so yeah, so it's like she must have been like at least 8 to probably more like 15 years older than him at
Yeah,
this
I was
point.
gonna say, based off what you just told me, like I was going by vibes when I said 8. Based off what you just told me, like, no, it's gonna be a lot more than that.
Yeah, I might be misremembering the age, but it's something like that. So it's about a decade, I would say. There's at least a vaguely around a decade difference in age. There would have to be. So, and maybe and I don't think the actress and actor are that difference in age, but the plot necessitates that it would be. So,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
anyways, hey. Anyways, we have a quick little sequence while they're sexing where Tosh and Coker are talking. Coker tries to reach out to Tosh
Will
as
you
a
make up how you're gonna pronounce this guy's name?
Toth
Yeah.
is his name. I say Tosh because I wanted to say like Daniel Tosh for some reason, I guess, for some fucking reason. Anyways,
It's not Daniel Tosh, folks.
no, it is not. It is not. Anyways, Coker is trying to relate to the guy again, showing that Coker's a generally social person. Um, He's like, I'm from Erelon. Where are you from? I got a family. And Toth is like, well, the kid's green. And Coker's like, well, he's a pretty good pilot. And Toth is like, well, I had a good unit, 50 guys, ultimate badasses. I'm the guy that's left. Where's your pal? And he's like, I don't know. And Toth says, don't you? They're sexing. They're sexing. Uh, Anyways, after the sexing, Husker hears Coker playing piano out in the main lobby of the ski lodge and drinking. And so he's like, Coker's like, back home, I couldn't afford this stuff. It'd be a crime letting it go to waste. Drink. And he said, and so they drink together. And Coker's like, you had to frack her, didn't you, dumb Husker? It just happened.
Very dumb.
Yeah, it's like it just happened, and Coker's like, it did not just happen. She did she tell you why we're here? And Husker's like, oh yeah, kinda. She told me about her husband, and Coker's like, that's not telling us why we're here. But then of course an explosion goes off, so we know the Cylons are coming in. We see Cylons sort of rushing towards the ski lodge.
Yeah, and I mean, like, can we also deal with the fact that even aside from just I'm so fucking sick of this shit,
Mm-hmm.
um, the the simple truth is that like it's a very stupid idea for the two of them to have had sex for straight up logistical reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody is on watch because Cylons could show up at literally any moment,
Mm-hmm. Which
and
they
you are
do.
literally gonna get caught with your pants down.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking and like here's the thing. If someone's going to try and tell me, well, he's young hotshot pilot, he's being led around by his dick, he's being an idiot. Fine. What's her excuse?
To be fair, given what the reveal at the end of the movie is, I guess I could see her being like trying to ingratiate herself with Adama more.
I don't
That's like the
know.
only argument I could
Given
really
what's at
make.
the end, no. I'd say it makes it worse because given what she's trying to accomplish and the lengths she's willing to go to do it, I don't think she'd be willing to jeopardize her reaching her end goal in order to do this. I don't buy it.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyways, but you know, man, woman must sex. This is the logic of the Battlestar Galactica universe.
It's
So
fuck o'clock, hands tied.
yeah, nothing I can do. Anyways, the Cylons, there's this, again another sort of action sequence where Adama runs into a Cylon, another Cylon runs into Becca, and
Real Terminator looking motherfuckers, these
yeah, they're very
ones.
different looking. They're very big. Um, while the one that finds Becca scans her, it scans her dog tags that she has, and it seems to be sort of very interested in that. And that's when Coker comes in and shoots it. Adama manages to, if you know, fight his silent and kills it. Comes in and they find the Centurion that Coker shot, and it's screaming. And Becca says it's, you know, it's they feel pain, and so Adama puts it out of his misery as he says it.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a hint of Becca being empathetic to the Cylons here. In the morning, now that the sun is up, they find Toth and he is dying. And so they basically kind of force Becca to tell them or Coker basically forced Becca to tell them what the mission is. He says, I'm going to send the evac code unless you tell us because we're all out of Marines and ammo. And so basically she says, Coker pulls a gun on this to sort of force this all out. He's like, you know, if you want to die
Yeah.
heroes, I'll let you right now. I can't take it. And so she basically tells them the war is going badly. So this is our last roll of the dice. There's a automated Cylon transmission array that they're going to upload a virus to, which is the thing that she says is on her dog tags, that it will blind their defenses and allow them to take out a bunch of their bases. So yeah, so she basically tells them all that, and so she's like, all right, we'll go and get this done. We then get a sequence of
Hold
her.
on, you missed the stupidest fucking line.
Sure. What did I miss?
So Adama gets all indignant about
Mm-hmm.
this. Like, oh, you couldn't have just told us this before? And she has this line that says, well, I trust you now. Lady, you're telling them because you have a gun pointed at you. You aren't volunteering this information. Fuck you, I trust you now, she said at gunpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck off. You weren't going to tell them shit.
Yep. Well,
And it wouldn't tick me off if they both didn't fucking buy it. Like
yeah.
chumps.
Yep. Well, anyways, And they go to the Cylon transmission array. They go all the way in there, and she says the virus is supposed to lay dormant until triggered. So they put the virus on the transmission array. We're in, but I think it's Coker. He notices that the information that's going up on the screen is information about the base stars, the fleet that they had
The
encountered.
battle stars.
Yes, the ghost. What did I say? Base stars. Excuse me,
You
battle
said
stars.
base stars.
Battlestars, information basically about the ghost fleet of the Cylon ghost fleet that's being uploaded. And so Coker shoots Becca, and it says, put the gun down. And she says she's a Cylon spy, and it says, ask about her, about the scanner. And she reveals it's not a virus, it's a recording device. It's giving the Cylons information on the ghost ships. And she's like, it will end the war. We can't win. We have to negotiate. They value life more than we do. And Adama's like, well, look, they're robots. They're soulless. Like, was what they were doing earlier, like killing people, was that valuing life more? She shoots Coker. And then she goes to shoot Adama, but she's out of ammo. So he knocks the gun out of her hand and stops the upload by shooting it. And so they stop all this. Turns out she's evil, and Adama picks up Coker, who is bleeding out, and he says, leave me, but they leave Becca behind as they head out into the snow. So yeah, Becca was the villain the whole time, and she believed the Cylons deserved to win.
They are actually going to kind of cover for this, but my initial thought was like, what the fuck story did she tell that let her get here? Because like I understand that she was just like basically saying I have clearance and you have to listen to my orders for these two, but I was like, she had something from the admiral level, and like the captain on the Galactica let them do, like, what the fuck did any of them think was going on? And we are actually eventually going to get an answer to that, which I'm not sure I buy, but at least they do try to address that.
Yes. Yeah, so they do. Out in the snow, they put up the evac signal, and Coker gives Adama a picture of his wife. He says, my wife, Katie. And he says, why didn't you tell me? He says, sometimes you miss something too much. You wouldn't understand. You've got lousy taste in women. But he says, you're all right, Husker. So finally, he likes Husker. And then it seems he dies. The movie seems to want us to think that he does, but then Adama gets rescued. The Raptors arrive to pick them up. Back at the transmission array, we see Becca, and we hear Trisha Helfer's voice, who says, are you alive? And then we see this CGI, I guess what will be called like a human form Centurion. So it's still a Centurion, but looks more human-like, but it doesn't have skin and such.
It's very CGI.
Yeah, it's
like
very CGI.
I know that the Cylons have always been CGI, but like this is PS3 CGI.
Mm-hmm. It's
like the concept and the design is kind of interesting. The effect doesn't look good though.
Yes. And so we're meant to presume that this is a like pre-hybrid attempt by the Centurions to make a human Cylon hybrid thing. Presumably before the final five show up, given the timeline.
Yeah.
But yes, she says, do you think you're more enlightened than your species? Do you think just because you're more enlightened than your species, we would hate you less? And kills Becca.
I do like that line.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Honestly. And I like the fact that she just straight up kills her.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's good. That's good beat there. Yeah. Anyways, back on the Galactica, we have the captain of the Galactica meeting up with Husker and says, I wanted to review your after-action report that you need to sign. The Admiralty believes that you were a little hard on yourself. And Adama's like, well, we failed. And he's like, no, your mission was a complete success. Turns out that they knew that she was going to betray them. And so they gave her the data to upload, essentially. And by the time the Cylons showed up there where they thought the fleet was going to be, it was long gone. And they managed to hit a bunch of toaster bases, as he says. And they're going to be on the defense for a little while. So
are you bitch?
I know.
But yeah, this is them trying to cover for it. I'm not sure I buy it for what it costs, like for what it costs them to do it. And like, whenever you're pulling like this kind of, there's a reason that espionage movies pretty much only reveal what's actually going on at the end, because when you actually try and parse all the bluffs, the double bluffs, the triple agents and whatnot, you realize the odds of this ever working were astronomically small,
Hmm.
just because you have so many people behaving in a way that they don't know what your intent is, and you think you know what their intent is, and it's against your best interest, but you're gonna let them do it anyway because it's just such a fucking mess. That it is like you really thought this was a good idea, but at the very least, they did actually attempt to answer the immediate question I had, which was how the fuck did she manage to pull this off? They do actually address it. And that it's one of those instances, because I've said this before, like at least trying to address this, even if it's an offhand line, tells me that you made a choice instead of made a mistake. So,
Hmm.
okay, you made a choice, and I'll judge your choice. I'm not sure it works. You didn't just make a mistake and fuck up, though. And sometimes, honestly, that helps at least a little.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is where we get sort of maybe I don't necessarily know if it's the intended thematic point of the movie, but it is the last sort of thematic point that we end on here. Well, no, there's one more, but the captain of the Galactica says, "All right, let the civilians have their heroes and their victories, while you and I have to fight the real war. There's more at stake than our integrity." And he basically says, "We're assembling a new task force, and there's a shiny new Viper with your name on it, and you should pick out a call sign." Surprise! The call sign he picks is Husker. And it also turns out that Coker is still alive.
Which
Surprisingly
I'm
enough.
assuming was just done back when this was intended to launch a series, because
Yes.
he would have been a regular.
Yes, very much so. But yes, he says, I'm going to, stick around the last 6 weeks of my tour. And then we get a last little montage where Adama goes and gets his Viper, and we get to see presumably what the cast of this new Galactica show would have been, because we go back to that like guy that Adama venerated at the beginning of the movie. So like again, here's like, all right, here's the cast of this new show that you're never gonna get. But yeah, he gives while all this is going on, and he sort of shoots out into space on his Viper. He gives another message to his dad where he said, "Part of me hates it. But when the war is over, it's not the battles that I'll remember, but the men and women with me." Um, so yeah, so he's
What is
started to learn.
Starfleet? It's the people.
Yeah, exactly. He's learned to not to see people and not just the war. Hey, look, he's moved a little bit. He had a character arc. Look at that.
Wee.
Yeah, and that is Blood and Chrome, the pilot for a series that never was. So
Yep,
yeah, what'd you think, Vera?
it's fine.
Yeah, it was
Like
all right. Yeah.
I kind of spilled it at the beginning, but like this is fine. I'm glad it didn't result in a series, because I don't think there's anything interesting you get out of trying to do this setting long term. But
Mhm.
it's fine.
Yeah, I think that's kind of my thing. It's like, yeah, it was a fine thing. I see why it didn't get picked up as a show, because it's like, yeah, I guess this was a nice little treat for the Galactica fans, but as a show, what would it have done new or more interesting than Galactica itself did, beyond just being like, hey, it's a war show. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like it feels like it exists to try and please whatever section of the fandom missed the space battles that I'm
Hmm.
assuming are not in Caprica.
Yes. Oh God, no. Yeah, Caprica is much more of a soap opera melodrama of a show.
Yeah.
Um.
So the half of Battlestar Galactica that isn't represented in Caprica, they tried to isolate as its own thing here. It works for the length of a movie well enough. Um, but yeah, no, I think they were very wise not to put this to series.
Yeah, what I would argue is like Caprica is probably more the philosophy aspects of Galactica. As much as you can say you have issues with the philosophy of it, but it's like okay, the Caprica is much more the thinky person show, and this was meant to be hey, all the shooty stuff that you liked from a Galactica will be in this one. Was kind of the vibe. So yeah, alas, but yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's a definitely interesting curio in the franchise, but that's really about it. So
Yeah.
yeah. Alrighty. Anything else up here?
Um, I just feel the need to do this because I had shown you before the um the lantern that I got from the Ren Fair,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
I actually got
yeah. Ooh, pretty. That's cool.
I
I'm
know.
excited. Yeah. That looks really cool.
I legitimately want to walk around
And
town in the
scared.
dark,
Yeah.
just carrying this and see what rumors start.
Did I ever tell you? I might have shared this story on this or another podcast at some point, but one of the things that I did once as a joke when I was in Boy Scouts was I was like, oh, what's the most fucked up thing that we could do to scare scouts? And people were like, oh, we could go in the tent and say boo. And I was the one who's like, no, we can be more fucked up than that. Like, I know how to traumatize children. And the way I decided to do it was like, let's get a lantern and we're not going to jump at them and scare them. We're just going to go around like a few yards outside of the camp, get a hood, and just walk with a lantern through the trees and moan a little bit. Like not, oh, but like, oh, every few minutes. And we did that. The next day, the kids were fucking horrified to the point where one kid did not want to stay at the camp anymore. So, yep.
You're a monster, and if I were one of those kids and found out, I would have decked you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you hear this story and you were one of those kids, come and deck me. I deserve it.
I
But
legit
I will.
encourage it because that I've given you a pass on prank shit before because you've
Mm-hmm.
been like, oh, it's shit that like I do to my dad or like whatever. I'm like, fine, family dynamics, whatever. Those kids didn't sign up to be
Nope.
traumatized.
Nope.
Fuck you. Find her, hunt her down, and smack her. I
Yep.
give
Nope.
you permission.
Nope. Yeah, I was I definitely traumatized children. So, to be fair, I was
Fuck
also a
you.
child, but it doesn't make it much better. So,
No, not really.
yeah, but lanterns were part of that. So there you go. Alrighty then, Vera. Stuff time.
Stuff. If you want to find my stuff, you can look for Council of Geeks. Patreon pays the bills and enables me to do this as my living. The main thing that supports is the Council of Geeks YouTube channel. Recent videos include me going over what lessons I think are worth considering or taking away from the issues of Hank Green admitting to making use of LLMs and generative AI. And then, unless I bumped it for something else, the most recent video should be about method acting and whether or not method actors are just egotistical assholes. Um, so that should be like that video is going to happen at some point. If it hasn't, if it's not the most recent, then it's coming soon.
Hmm.
So that is the main channel. You can also find the Council of Geeks break room where I post videos on whatever I have watched, listened to, read, or played lately. I have caught up on Game Changer and X-Men 97, and I'm now starting to review Star Trek Strange New World season 4 because
Whee!
this bitch tricked me.
You're welcome.
Um, so yeah, that those will go up there. I reviewed Doctor Strangelove recently, which I hadn't watched in a very long
Oh, that's
time,
a good movie. Yeah.
and whatever else I have watched, read, listened to, or played lately. You can also find Council of Geeks on a handful of social media sites that I don't feel like naming because who gives a shit. Um, that is the geeky stuff. There is, of course, also the spicy stuff.
Spicy stuff.
And for that, you look for Vera Wild.
Wild.
Wild is spelled Wilde. And you can
YLD.
find increasingly spicy content, including seeing my not safe for work take on Bowsette.
Can confirm it's great. It's worth it.
You can find content like that or precisely that, depending on where you go, on YouTube,
YouTube,
TikTok.
TikTok. And you can find me at Jesse Gender on YouTube, where I do video essay style of stuff. By the time you're listening to this, my obsession video should be out because I'm finishing it tomorrow as of this
You have
recording.
said that last 2 times.
Well, it should be out because I'm literally finishing it tomorrow. I just got to add a little bit more music to the background of it, and then I'm exporting it. So by the time you're listening
Now
to this,
let's see if this one can stay up.
we'll see. We'll see.
It should be fine. Like I used clips from Obsession in the video that I did, and I was fine. You should be fine.
We'll find out. Yes, so check that out. I have a secondary channel, Jesse Ginger After Dark, where I do news, reviews, reactions, which includes my own reviews of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So check that out. I am also on the Cast of Kings podcast, which it just wrapped up as of this recording our House of the Dragon coverage, but we have announced we are going to be covering Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and we're going to be doing a rewatch of that show leading into the third season that's coming up in a month or a couple months. So go check that out. It should be a fun time. You can also find me on Starter Trek, which is the Star Trek podcast I do with Tawny Newsom and Andrew T, which is a podcast where we rewatch random episodes of Star Trek that Andrew has no idea what they are about and has no real context for Star Trek for. So it's a fun time there. I am on Blue Sky and Instagram. And I'm on Patreon that helps me pay my bills. Please support me there. And I am on Nebula, a streaming service that houses my movie Identities, which you can go check out, as well as the upcoming show Subliminal, which we are basically almost done with. So check that out. Anything else, Avira?
Yeah, I listened to what is at time of recording the latest episode of Star Trek, which was about the episode Trouble with Tribbles,
Mm-hmm.
which was a fun listen. And also, give it a listen and learn or be reminded if you already knew that Dr. McCoy does not know what bisexual is.
Yes. Yep. It is very funny. And I forgot that completely watching. I was like, wait, what the fuck? I forgot this was a thing.
Oh, I have now pulled that clip and like set it aside in my save. Like I will find a
A
reason to
context
use
for it.
this
Yes.
clip at some point.
It's very, very funny. But yes, it was a really fun episode. And then watch our next one too. I've learned that I am Tawny is and also Andrew, like Andrew is a professional comedy writer. Tawny is a professional comedy writer and also an improviser. So I cannot keep up with them in terms of the comedy stuff. However, I am good with props. So I have found that I can make weird props appear in the episode that can help my comedy. So I will be the Gallagher of this Star Trek podcast. It'll be a good time. So check out the next one that we have coming out as of this recording. If you're listening to this, it'll already be out, but it'll be the Star Trek the Animated Series episode. More Tribbles, more troubles. So that's a fun one because I had a fun prop there as well. All right, Vera. Anything else?
Nah.
All righty then. With all that said, hope you all, my friends, live long and prosper.
Be seeing you.
Sweet.